Hello, Live Law viewers. Welcome to Courts Today. Let us dive into the important legal headlines of the day. All India Muslim Personal Law Board, Bangalore Jama Masjid Imam has approached the Supreme Court against the Waqf Amendment Act of 2025. The Supreme Court is set to consider the plea to review NAC gradings of college and universities in the last 5 years. The Allahabad High Court has granted bail to a man accused of raping a college student, saying that the victim herself invited trouble and was responsible for it. In a Delhi riots matter, a Delhi court has stayed the order directing further investigation against BJP leader Kapil Mishra. And a Bengaluru court has granted bail to the accused in Ballari ISIS module case over allegedly recruiting vulnerable youth as mujahideen. I'm your host Urvashi Chauhan, bringing you the most important legal updates of the day, quick, crisp and to the point. Watch till the end, and if you find this update valuable, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel because your support means the world to us. Before I get to the details, here is an exciting opportunity for judiciary aspirants. Live Law Academy, Live Law's Judiciary Coaching Initiative, has opened registrations for its May batch. You can choose from two tailored courses. First, Jessup 2.0, a comprehensive 18-month online program covering everything you need to crack the judiciary exam, taught by an expert panel including retired judges. And Jessup Lite, a flexible weekday-only program for those who prefer a structured yet lighter approach. Today is the last day to get an exclusive 30% early bird discount. Plus, you can enjoy Live Law's free subscription, case compilations, and much more. Don't miss this opportunity. Enroll today at www.livelawacademy.in. Adding to the multiple petitions challenging the recently enacted Waqf Amendment Act 2025, Mohammad Maqsoon Imran, the Chief Imam of Jamia Masjid, Bengaluru City, has filed a writ petition before the Supreme Court alleging that the amendments violate Articles 14, 25 and 26 of the Constitution by completely altering the character and essence of Waqf. He argues that the amendments alter the fundamental religious character of Waqf properties and damage the democratic process in Waqf administration. The petition states that the amendments interfere with Muslim community rights by allowing outsider influence in Waqf boards and introducing hurdles like the requirement of a 5-year practicing Muslim status to create a Waqf, deletion of Waqf by user, and inclusion of non-Muslim members in Waqf boards. Another petition filed by Muhammad Fazl ur Rahim and the All India Muslim Personal Law Board argues that the new law marginalizes the Muslim minority, dilutes religious freedom, and discriminates by applying stricter conditions to Muslim endowments compared to other religions. Both petitions challenge the newly inserted Section 3C, which prevents Waqf properties from being recognized until a government inquiry is completed, calling it arbitrary and violative of natural justice principles. Let me tell you, apart from these two petitions, Manipur MLA Sheikh Norul Hassan, who is the leader of National People's Party India in Manipur Legislative Assembly, has also approached the Supreme Court challenging this act. Notably, his party is an ally of the BJP as a member of the National Democratic Alliance. The petitioner in the plea has raised a concern over the amendment depriving scheduled tribes practicing Islam from giving their property in Waqf. This, he contends, violates their fundamental right to practice their religion. The Supreme Court is scheduled to hear these petitions on 16th April now. Stay tuned with Live Law. In the next update, the top court bench comprising Justices P.S. Narasimha and Jo Malya Bagchi has issued notice on a public interest litigation filed by the NGO Bistro Destino Foundation seeking a fair and transparent system for grading higher education institutions by the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, that is NAC. The plea raises serious concerns over the lack of transparency in NAC's assessment process, citing a March 2023 audit by the General Administration and Governance, which highlighted major discrepancies. It also points to the resignation of former NAC chairman Bhushan Patwardhan, who stepped down in March 2023 after expressing concerns that certain universities were allegedly using unfair practices to secure questionable grades and that manipulations were happening at various stages such as ICT, data validation and verification, that is DVC, and peer team visits. The petition explains the grading process in detail, where institutions submit an annual quality assurance report and institutional information for quality assessment, along with a self-study report outlining their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges. The data is validated through the DVV process outsourced to external agencies, followed by a peer team visit. The final grade is determined based on 70% weightage from the DVV process and 30% from the peer team's evaluation, with the NAC Executive Council giving the final approval. Adding to the controversy, a CBI probe probe was initiated on 1st February this year against NAC officials for allegedly taking bribes to award better grades and for arbitrarily lowering grades without giving institutions a fair hearing. The petitioner here has sought multiple directions from the court, including establishing a transparent grading process, setting up a committee to review the assessment made in the past 5 years, quashing grades that were awarded without proper hearings, reassessing grades given by assessors who have since been removed, and granting any other reliefs that the court may deem fit. Moving ahead, the Allahabad High Court has granted bail to a man accused of raping a college student, observing that the victim had herself invited trouble and was responsible for the alleged act. The woman here alleged that after meeting the accused at a bar, he raped her twice at a relative's apartment. She had agreed to accompany him to rest as she was heavily intoxicated after consuming alcohol. The court was of the view that even if the allegation of the victim is accepted as true, then it can also be concluded that she herself invited trouble and was also responsible for the same. Justice Sanjay Kumar Singh added that the victim, an MA student, was competent enough to understand the morality and significance of her act as disclosed in the FIR. On the other hand, seeking bail, the accused argued that even if all allegations were true, it was at most a case of consensual relations. His counsel also emphasized that he had been in jail since December 2024 with no criminal history. The state opposed the bail but did not contest the factual arguments made by the accused counsel. Well, considering the facts and circumstances of the case as well as the nature of the offense, the evidence and complicity of the accused, the court held that the applicant had made out a fit case for bail, and accordingly the bail application was allowed. In another update, a Delhi court has stayed a lower court's order that had directed the Delhi police to conduct further investigation against BJP leader and Delhi minister Kapil Mishra over his alleged involvement in the 2020 Northeast Delhi riots. Special Judge Kaveri Baveja of Rouse Avenue Courts issued notice on a revision petition filed by the Delhi police, which had challenged the order passed by the Additional Chief Judicial Magistrate or the ACJM on 1st April. The court said that the operation of the impugned order would remain stayed until the next date of hearing, which is fixed for 21st April. The records from the ACJM's court have also been requisitioned. The Delhi police argued that the ACJM had erred by directing further investigation when the complainant had merely asked for registration of an FIR under section 156(3) of the CRPC. It was submitted that the magistrate, despite being aware that a UAPA case regarding the larger conspiracy into the riots was already pending, encroached upon the jurisdiction of the special court designated to handle such matters. The Delhi police contended that Kapil Mishra was being framed and had no role to play in the 2020 riots. Let me tell you here that the complaint in question was filed by Mohammad Ilyas, who alleged that on 23rd February 2020, he saw Mishra and his associates blocking a road, damaging street vendors, carts, and threatening protesters to vacate the area, allegedly in the presence of senior police officers. Before the ACJM, the police had opposed the plea, describing it as a conspiracy to falsely implicate Mishra. In its order, however, the ACJM found that a cognizable offense had been made out against Mishra. The judge noted that Mishra had acknowledged during interrogation that he was present in the area and that people had gathered around him, which further strengthened the complainant's allegations. And lastly, a special court in Bengaluru has granted bail to 7 individuals accused in the Ballari ISIS module case. They were allegedly involved in recruiting and radicalizing youth to form terrorist sleeper cells aimed at attacking Indian institutions, including the police, army, judiciary, and specific religious organizations, and establishing a caliphate. The accused face serious charges under the IPC, the Explosive Substances Act, and the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. However, the court noted that the police failed to provide the accused with written grounds of arrest at the time of their detention, a violation of legal rights as clarified by recent Supreme Court rulings. The court stressed that although the charges are grave, bail was granted purely on technical grounds due to procedural lapse. Though the bail was granted, the court has imposed strict conditions. That is, each accused must furnish a bond of 2 lakh with 2 sureties, use only one registered mobile number, and regularly appear in court.